Hello, welcome back to Affirmations. Wishing everyone mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional health. Okay, let me see if we can get some Palo Santo. Okay, we've talked about how we like adding the scents to when we're discussing things about healing. We talked about how we're learning about our spiritual rights and how we have a right to. Um, be able to create sacred spaces whenever we're healing. It is my opinion that healing is spiritual in nature, okay? Let's see. For those of you that are new, let's see. We want you to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you to my subscribers, as well as those who are returning, as well as those who um, are new subscribers. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 1,000. Also, too, if you could comment or put let's say let's do a purple heart in the comment section. It helps the algorithm pick up the channel. Okay, so if you could do that, I appreciate it. Also, too, for those of you that are new, we do tackle the topic of healing slave trauma. And we always start off with our saying, death and life is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Have you been feeding yourself fresh or rotten fruit? We want to always mind the self-talk that we do with ourselves, as well as what we speak out loud, as well as what we speak about others. It's okay to vent, but we want to make sure that we're not lying or being malicious on others, because sometimes that can activate reap what you sow, okay? Let's see. So this week we're going back to our DBT deck. And this right here is 101 mindful practices to manage distress, regulate emotion, and build better relationships. It's dialectical behavioral therapy. And this right here, actually, we talked about post-traumatic stress disorder. You'll see in the description box, there's recommendations for his books, a book about post-traumatic slave syndrome. And again, we've heard about post-traumatic stress disorder, but never post-traumatic slave syndrome. But it's important that's specific to our people. And dialectical behavioral therapy is to help people dealing with what they call complex post-traumatic stress disorders. Okay, meaning multiple, and our people have definitely done with multiple traumatic experiences. So that's why I like using this particular deck. But again, the information about this is in the description box, as well as information about how to find a counselor, as well as how to get in contact with me as well. If you want services, and I will never reach out to you if someone's doing it. No, that's not me. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to randomly pull to see what we're going to speak from today. Let's see what we got. Okay. We have the word fast, and we're looking at the A in the word fast, which stands for no apologies. Okay. Okay, I'm not even sure if it's focusing. But it reads, no apologies mean you do not make unnecessary apologies. Like dripping water, this type of apology erodes your bedrock of self-respect. You need not apologize for having an opinion, for needing assistance, or for situations for which you are not responsible. Notice the circumstances in which you apologize and begin to resist overly apologetic behaviors. Ooh, this is a good one. Have we found ourselves over apologizing? I know I can relate to that, right? And again, we relate everything to slavery. When we look at our people, we have been programmed to overly apologize, right? We, even after slavery, we couldn't even look people in the eye. They would say you were disrespectful. Sometimes people were hung for that. So this has been programmed in us to be overly apologetic. And this is a tricky one, right? And then sometimes I look, especially to other groups. We're overly apologetic to other groups. Sometimes not within our group, but to other groups, we're overly apologetic because we've been programmed that way, right? And so, think about that. And I know that's something that I struggle with as well, but even not just even with groups outside of us, but even within our own group, I'm so sorry for being sick. I'm so sorry for being sick and inconveniencing. And that's a hard one because, again, we have been programmed to be very aware of when we're taking up too much space or requiring too much. And it does erode at our self-esteem and our self-respect. So this is one that I struggle with as well. But yeah, we want to make sure we're not making unnecessary apologies. Ooh, that's going to be a tricky one. So put in the comment section if you can relate to this and if you feel like you struggle with this as well. Yeah. No need to apologize for having an opinion. And so sometimes that's another thing we've talked about. Sometimes we may have an opinion and someone else may have a different opinion. And we have to learn that it's okay to disagree. And when you're dealing with a healthy person, you'll see that they can respect your opinion. And they're okay with the fact that you may not agree with them. But we always talked about, the character of the master and the slave. Someone that wants to be controlling, they get very agitated if you don't agree with them. Right? So we have to really, that's a good way to see, how a person is. And some people will sometimes act like they're not offended that you have a different opinion, but you'll start seeing certain things in their behavior where they will start sabotaging or do secret revenge, these types of things. And so if that's something that you struggle with, you need to journal about that. You have to ask yourself, everyone has been given what you call free will, right? But again, because with patriarchy and religion, they've combined it and colonized the entire world with this oppression of groups of people, and particularly women as well, and children. It is offensive to have a different opinion, and people get angry because they want you to not only to do what they say, but they need you to even control how you think and feel. And no one has a right to that. We all have free will, and we all have been given that as a personal gift from the Most High. So we need to be aware of that. So let's journal about that. If we over apologize, or if we're a person that gets pissed when someone is not overly apologetic or having a different opinion, right? And we're unraveling because they don't agree with us, right? So that's a tricky thing. That's that master thing. Okay, that's a good one. So we want to look at that. Let's see what we're doing on time. Okay. Kind of doing them a little shorter. I think I'm just going to go right into an affirmation. That's enough for us to chew on for sure. So we're going to do the Love Thyself deck. This right here is an affirmation deck that I've used in the past. I will put it in the description box as well. Okay. It is a hot one here. I got me a hot one today. I'll tell you. The summer's been pretty good, but normally certain months definitely are hotter than others. So let me know if y'all are staying cool. Okay. So let's see what we're going to get. What affirmation are we going to get? There we go. Let's see what it says. It says, abundance flows to me naturally. Abundance flows to me naturally. I do not think this is in focus. So anyway, this is, again, I'm playing with phones and getting used to if it focus or not. Yeah. Abundance flows to me naturally. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. And so one of the things we have been programmed and have been made to feel we've been made to feel less than, in which makes us always feel in lack. So we don't feel like abundance flows naturally. Are you a person, because you don't feel like abundance flows naturally, you manipulate things and sometimes will engage in behaviors that may even go against your morals and your values, or go against society's norms and values, to force in order to get abundance. Or does abundance flow to you naturally? You know, do you allow it to flow naturally, or do you are things so dire and desperate that you feel like you have to really um, manipulate to make that happen? No judgment. You know, people have had to do those things to survive, just to get basic needs. But, you know, we're looking at the death and life is in the power of the tongue. So speaking a thing, thinking a thing. And so sometimes repeating this affirmation this week. How about we do that this week? We want to repeat, or maybe write down, abundance flows to me naturally. We want to say it maybe once a day. Let's try that and see what happens. Okay? All right. And with that, I want to thank you all for returning. Please, again, like, share, and subscribe. If you're new, hit the notification bell. Again, check information in the description box so you know. Get information regarding how to find a counselor, how to contact me, as well as information about self-harm, okay? And some of the topics that we talk about can be very triggering, okay? We want to always take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, and we want to know that we are safe, okay? It is okay if you found yourself getting agitated or irritated with anything that was said today. A lot of times it means you may be struggling with that topic in some kind of way, so do journal, okay? And so I'm going to end with our statement that I always end with. Everyone has a right to heal from trauma, even a race nation. Until next time.